computer. There we go. Okay, awesome. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm super excited to get to know everyone and yeah, have everybody just be connected and see how we can move forward with this new initiative that we're starting. So the intention for this meeting is really just kind of a meet and greet so we can all just learn more about each other and also look at the different strengths that each of us have to see where we can apply our talents and our abilities to help this whole project that we have. And the project is basically just taking all of Tom's material and making it more accessible, more relevant, more useful to the general public. This is really just a platform for everybody to share their ideas, share their abilities and their skills, and then for us to organize that all together and see how we can move forward accordingly. So I thought what we could do is, I know I was a little eager and those who joined, I was like, oh, where are you from? But if you don't mind repeating yourself again so that everybody can hear, let's just do a quick introduction. So maybe just share your name, where you're from, and a little bit about what brought you here today. Yeah, so let's just start. Paul, you're directly to my right, so do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'm Paul Borgers. I'm living in San Francisco at the moment. I'm an illustrator, an animator. I'm originally from the Netherlands, but I also lived in Melbourne and London for a while. What brought me here was I watched Tom's movies on YouTube a lot, and I was thinking of how to help, and I thought if there's any anything that needs to be visualized that's complicated with an animation, yeah, I could help with that, I think, because that's my work, and it doesn't have to be very complicated animations. Like something simple can already be done in a short amount of time, so I will be able to help with that.
Yeah. That's awesome. I would love to see Tom's work created into animated little short films, teaching elements where you could see it visually.
Yeah.
So that's great. Awesome. Thank you, Paul. How about you, Limor?
Yes. I'm in London, originally from Israel. And I've been listening to, I think almost all his videos. So I'm really to Tom Campbell and everything to do with it. Skills-wise, I used to be a journalist, editing, writing, and I'm also a therapist, counselor. So I'm using Tom's theories in my practice. The way I thought I can help is first with translation from English to Hebrew. So maybe audience in Israel can also get some of it, and also help with social network. Maybe I'm less kind of technologically skilled, but I can do some stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Very cool. Thank you. And with your background in counseling and how you're already using some of the MBT tools with your patients, you could probably help us to create some practical exercises and activities to make his material more easy to apply in daily life.
Yeah, it's true. Guidance in regards to it.
Yeah, very exciting. Awesome. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, I'm my name's Chris McCauley. I'm in Canada as well, and my background is largely creative. So right now I'm a voiceover actor is my main thing that I do. So I'm happy, if possible, as I mentioned to Vanessa, I am in the union, so there are some things about making sure that I'm playing by the rules that would have to occur, but I'm more than happy to lend my voice to anything. That said, I also have a background in writing, filmmaking, in music as well. So if there's anything like that that needs a little bit of work too, I'm a stay-at-home dad as I do voice work, so there's a lot of free time, so I have some free time on my hands and I can lend to it. As for what brought me here, I stumbled upon Tom's work a while back, and I've found it to be just amazing, and it's really resonated a lot. And so, like many of you, I'm sure I've devoured a lot of his videos, and when the call for volunteers came up, I was happy to throw my hat in the ring. So that's me.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Mark, did you want to share next?
Sure. I'm Mark Kaiser. I'm the executive officer of a network of federally qualified health centers in Louisiana. Um, so my background is general management, and I work for a not-for-profit company, but we're a pretty large not-for-profit company, so we have a lot of resources in a number of different areas. Not the kinds of resources to necessarily produce materials, although we do have some of that capacity in our organization. And so I have a lot of people that work with me in doing that. I came here consequent to studying physics. That's kind of what my hobby is, although I'm an administrator, if you will. But so in the study of physics, I came across this work. The Big Toe, probably a year or two ago, 2 years ago, and so I've read the material, the books, and probably watched hundreds of hours of videos, and it was very intriguing to me from that aspect, and classified something I think it would be as a quote left brainer. So I'm still trying to figure out how to become maybe more right brain oriented, but I just want to learn more. And when this request came out for participating, I thought, well, there's a great opportunity to learn more and maybe contribute. So that's what I'm doing.
Right on. Thank you, Mark. Nerd, would you like to go next?
Yes, my name's Nurj. I'm living in Brisbane, Australia, and I came across Tom's work in 2012 and really changed my life. And I would like to contribute in any way I can, but I don't really have any particular skills except for watching videos. So in any way I can help, I'm happy to do that. I'm sort of edging towards retirement, and I have a few days of the week free, so I can watch lots more videos.
Awesome. We do need that because we need people to go through all the videos and categorize and organize them. So that is a skill in itself, somebody who's interested and passionate about the material. So, glad to have you here. Thank you, Nurj. Mao, how about you?
Yes, my name is Mau Lopez. I'm in Mexico City. I've been following Tom's work and teachings for 4 years now, and I think it's important to make this work and teachings available to the general public because, well, I'm convinced that the way in which society worldwide is running the world is not working, and Tom's teachings is a completely new way of looking at life and how everything works, and I think it's extremely important, and there has to be a place to start. So I think this is the one. And in terms of my skills, I think that I can help in translating from English to Spanish. I have translated a couple of books in the teachings of the Kabbalah. I'm an engineer, a systems engineer, so almost everything related with information technologies, like databases, if there's the need to work with them, or some programming, or online platforms, etc. I think that I can help with that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. We definitely need that kind of help. So great to have you. Thank you, Mal. Russ, did you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. As I said, I'm from Russia, and these ideas are very close to me, and because I was thinking in the same lines since many years, and watching also from 2012 these videos, and this idea is very fantastic. I mean, to bring it closer to the larger stratum of population by using the apps for the handheld devices. So this is a very good idea, and I would like to help. My background is technical. I'm also a physicist, but I had hobbies studying foreign languages, and that's why I learned English so well and some other languages. And I can do the translation of these videos. Also, I can record them, with my voice, so that it can be done then voiceover or something. So this way I can help your brilliant idea to promote it worldwide, especially among Russian population, which is, I think, about 300 million.
Yeah. Wow. Wonderful. Awesome to have you, Russ. Thank you.
Well,
Daniel, Daniel, I don't know, Fung? Daniel Fung, do you want to go?
Hey, Vanessa. Yeah, I've been following Tom for about 2.5 years, thanks to you. You introduced me to him and his works. I'm a bit of a geek, so I understand all the technology stuff. I'm well versed in social media, and I'm also a life coach. And I've been using a lot of Tom's principles in my coaching to help clients overcome some of their fears and help them live a life that they've totally dreamt of and really truly want. So I'm glad to be part of this group and hope to make Tom more of a mainstream person in the whole wide world. So thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Daniel. Right on. Toby, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Toby Jones, and I live in the UK. Yeah, I discovered Tom a while back, and was intrigued by this 900-page trilogy, but I found that a little bit too much for me. So, like a lot of other people, I got straight into Tom's videos, and I've watched a lot of his videos, let's put it that way, like so many, and I became more and more intrigued. And for me, this integrated so much into my understanding of life such as it is, and my belief system such as it is. And my background is construction, you could say, building. And I suppose for me, my working life has been putting ideas into action and translating that. So, and then organizing that and organizing the people around that. So that, I suppose, is part of my skill set, is sort of translating stuff from ideas into action. And then a few years ago, for various reasons, I qualified as a counsellor. So my day job is construction, and then I do some volunteer work on that, counselling. And so I've discovered that part of what I do quite well is interact with other people. So, this is what I basically bring, and anything I can do to help, here I am.
Yeah, great. We definitely need your organizational skills. So glad to have you here. Thank you, Toby. Miss Beth.
Beth Haley. I'm from Alberta, Canada, and I went to Tom's workshop in New York in 2009 and had him come to Calgary and do a quick talk in 2010, and then he came back and did a full weekend workshop in 2011, and then he's come one more time and done a kind of a satsang with a group of people that just answered a lot of questions and stuff. So I'm currently working on making his book a little more reader friendly, bringing it down to 250 pages. So I've been pulling a lot of stuff out, and that project's about a third finished. I'm a medical intuitive, and I do have a lot of classes at the Monroe Institute. So I take meditation pretty seriously. I teach meditation classes. I'm teaching a spoon bending class here this weekend. If you can use your mental faculties to soften the metal spoon, then you can see how powerful your thoughts are. That's kind of my thinking around it. Mm-hmm. So any way that I can be of help. I'm not really technical, although I do know how Zoom works. So, but I'm happy to help in whatever format, you can use my skills, whatever, that might be.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't aware of the book piece, so I'm sure we can pull a lot of information from that and use it towards this work that we're doing. So
Yeah.
very cool, Beth. Awesome. Daniel, how about you?
Hello. I just had some healing experience with MBT in 2015. So I kind of have a little bit of direct experience to knowing that this model is very, very accurate. And prior to experimenting with MBT, I was also kind of interested in simulation theory and how it may apply to our kind of understanding of reality. So I've been looking at this for quite a long time, since 2015. Very, very interested in Tom's work, and can see a lot of potential with the model going forward. So I'd be interested. My actual background is in technology, with programming, systems integration, and so on. So be quite interested to see if there's anything that we can kind of put together and help out with.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Really good to have you here too. Doug, did you want to go to? Oh, Doug there you are. You just moved on my screen.
Yeah, I'm Doug Hodge. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. From Knoxville, Tennessee, and been studying Tom probably since 2012. Read all his books and probably watched most of his videos, and had an opportunity to spend a week with him at the Monroe Institute when he was there. It was probably 2 or 3 years ago. Definitely, Tom's been a big part of my life and how I've changed and grown. So I definitely want to get back. My background is in I have a math degree and then civil engineering degrees, and so I have a technical background. Can probably do some help with some programming or database work, and then have potentially some access to individuals that may be able to help us with applications on maybe the phones or something like that. If we want to get the database onto a phone system or an iPad or stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, that's about it.
Great. Yeah, that's definitely what we want to do, is create apps to make it more user friendly. So great to have that connection. Awesome. Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Let's see, Jen or Jean? Jin? Or okay, how about Ashton? Ashton, are you free to chat now?
Hello. Sorry.
Hi. It's okay.
I'm Ashton. I kind of guess I spend a lot of time watching Tom's videos, reading his books. I'm not quite sure what I can do to help, but maybe I can help in any way. I don't know. I just thought maybe I could just help. I'm not sure how. Maybe I could support people who are supporting Tom. I'm a pretty positive person, so maybe I can help in that way. But I invest quite a lot of time in his work, so yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Ashton.
Yeah.
Definitely need that positive energy, so it's great to have you. Thank you. And then is it Jean?
Oh, hi. Yeah. Yeah, it's Jean. Yeah. Yeah, just the same. I've been into Tom's work for about 3 years now, and I just want to help spread the word, put the word out there, and do something. I must have. Well, I don't suppose I've seen all his videos, but his videos, but I see a lot of them and I listen to them over and over again. So I'm really interested in kind of cataloguing the subjects in all the videos in whatever way I can and however I can help.
Great. Yes, definitely. That's on the agenda is how can we catalog and organize. So really good to have you here as well, Jean. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is my first video conference call thing I've ever done. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So this will most likely be using the Zoom platform just till we get situated and set up on the Fireside Chat platform. So Oliver has offered to host us on his server, and so he's just creating that. In order to do that, he needs to create user profiles for everybody that's on here. Unless you're already registered with the Fireside Chat, then you're good to go. But I'll send a follow-up email with details regarding that. So I'm Vanessa, and I'm from Vancouver, and I came across Tom's material about 4 years ago. A friend of mine sent me his YouTube videos, and I could not get into it at all. And I was just fortunate enough to, a few weeks later, go to the Monroe Institute and learn from him directly. If it weren't for me meeting him and learning from him directly, I wouldn't have been so interested in his material. And so that's why it's so important for me to take the material that he has online and make it more accessible and more digestible to the general public. Because, like I said, if I didn't get that opportunity to meet with him, then I wouldn't have been where I am today. And MBT has significantly changed my life for the better. It's taken me out of like the depths of despair, and it's turned me into a really positive, happy person. So I'm super grateful for MBT and what it's done. I'm grateful for this opportunity. When the video went out a couple days ago, I got about 50 emails, and they're still coming in. And so I'm a very hands-on person, and I need to see people. I don't remember names or anything, so I need to actually see you and have that connection for me to understand and learn who you are. And that's why right away I was like, okay, let's hop on a call and like meet each other, build kind of community. And so and I told Tom, we're just going to meet, and we've got about a dozen people on the call. And he's like, oh, that's great. So once you start learning and connecting and getting to know each other, then we're going to look at the specific projects and prioritize. And, we'll have to form different groups and have leaders in place and really get the management in order. But right now, like I said, it's more just for an opportunity. It's an opportunity for everybody to meet each other, get to know one another, and see what our why, our intention for wanting to help. I think what really connects us is kind of the bigger picture, which is we all understand love is the answer. And for the first time, there is a model that helps you to logically understand that love is the answer. And that's at least what brought me here. And it sounds like a lot of you are left-brainers as well, maybe except for Beth. But yeah, it speaks to the left-brainers, and so I'm excited.
I actually started out very much a left-brainer. I was a financial advisor for the Royal Bank for 15 years before I went on this path. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it just goes to show. I always say that MBT took care of my left brain and set my right brain free, so that I could now feel my way through life. Yeah. So did everybody get a copy of the agenda? If not, no?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here and bring it up. Share. Oh. I have it on my other, can't bring it up. So the first thing, as I'm bringing this up, that we were going to look at is basically how do we make all the material more accessible? And the number one priority was to take everything from YouTube and organize it, categorize it. So does anybody have any experience doing that? Like time stamping and that type of thing? Oh, let me see this. Because that's something that I've never done in terms of organizing clips on YouTube. I mean, I have a playlist, that's as extensive as it gets.
I think one thing, Vanessa, we could do, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, is just from a programming standpoint, if we were to create just a simple Excel like database that has the title of the videos, and then the subject, and then maybe some keywords that we think are really representative of what the topics of the videos are. If we were to listen to, sort of divide and conquer and listen to all the videos and then have everyone put in that information, the title, the subject, and then maybe 5 or 6 key things. That information, if it's in an Excel format or something like that, can be imported into any type of database. But by doing that, it can be searchable, and I think the key thing is for, if someone's just getting into Tom's work and, he's got, 1,000 videos out there, they're going, well, what, where should I start first? Or what, I don't really want to listen to the 3-hour video over here, but I want to listen to, one on relationships or something like that. If when they plug in the word relationship, maybe it pulls up and it categorizes and prioritizes, those videos. So, but the first thing to do that is by going through and creating this database, and then that would be the starting point.
Mm-hmm. So creating a database by starting with an Excel spreadsheet and just listing all the different relevant topics.
Yeah, unless we have a programmer out of our group here that can do something online, where as we're listening to the videos, we could put something, in a program online that would automatically enter it. But, and I think from my experience, if we get it into Excel or something, even Word, probably Excel, I would say, that can be imported into any software package.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, now that's just one idea, but I'm thinking, that's what people want. They want to be able to search his videos and be able to quickly come up with, a relevant, video that they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps we could also create a list of all the keywords associated with Tom and utilizes only the keywords in the Excel spreadsheet, just so that we don't have different variations of the keywords.
Exactly. Yep. And so, yeah, exactly right. So if we only have a certain number of keywords, if we all agree on that, then we would, each video would have a certain listing of keywords. And then we could even prioritize the keywords. Like the first key, if we have 5 keywords, if relationship is the number 1 thing on that would be listed as the first keyword. You see what I mean? And then the ones behind, the next ones could be less of a topic. He always talks about love, so that's going to be on everything. You see what I mean? But there can be a way to think that can make it searchable, just from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say that, sorry. The videos actually include most of the subjects. So I'm just thinking, there's so many videos of Tom. He talks about all the subjects in one video. So I don't know how it's going to actually help. I'm trying to ask myself.
I'm wondering actually if you broke it down. So say, for example, in a fireside chat where different people, 10 minutes or so, will throw in a new question at Tom. It was possible to do question by question almost. So if somebody's asking about reincarnation and the next person's asking about relationships, or the next person, if there was a way to break it down even sort of within a period of time within a video, what subject was covered, because he does tend to pop around subject matters because it's so fascinating and there's all kinds of different facets of this, that maybe that's something like that. But I know nothing about database Excel and how to do it. But certainly watching enough of his videos, he does cover so many subjects in one 3-hour video, for example. That, yeah, I think there would have to be a way to sort of within even one of those long videos be able to drill down further to specific topics and questions that might be of particular interest.
And I think if we could break the videos down into 15-minute chunks, that would be really helpful, because, you know, most people these days won't watch a 3-hour video. I mean, they're available, but I think if we start making them smaller pieces, I know that'll make a lot more of them, but if we're going to catalog them anyway, I think that's a really good way to start breaking them into, like you're saying, Chris, question and answer kind of pieces, and then putting something from that.
I believe you can time mark the videos for the specific keywords. So then someone goes to the YouTube video and it's 3 hours long, and if they want to just, if you look at the YouTube video, you have little dots on the timeline. Each of those dots represent a specific topic, for example.
One thing that I've noticed is that someone's already started writing a search engine for the YouTube videos. So the transcripts have been indexed for some of the videos, so you can literally go on and search for a relationship or search for anything related to what you're interested in, and then find videos that have those particular keywords mentioned within them. So that's quite useful, really, because that helps people to discover the videos that they're interested in. And in terms of, you know, what I feel is kind of missing in some respects is the kind of explore.mybigtoe.com, where people can, you know, explore these different areas more easily, as opposed to, you know, going through a video and then, you know, getting 3 of the same type of video in a row, and then not really being able to, you know, have the 15-minute introduction to MBT, coming across that as an introduction, and then, you know, going deeper and deeper fractal into the kind of big picture dynamics of what, you know, what Tom's model is all about.
Yeah, and I think where we're going with this is in the right direction. When you look at some of the top or the most viewed YouTube sites right now, it seems like what they're doing is if they have an hour-long video or a podcast, they're breaking it up the day afterwards into topic segments, and then they're redistributing it out, so they actually get much more hits just on the specific topic. And I see that with it just started in the last 2 or 3 months, but I see that with a lot of the sites right now, and they're jumping their viewer membership huge and their count by doing that because of how they distribute it. They just don't put it over one website or one YouTube site. They put it over numerous sites.
I think the other thing is with Tom's videos, he tends to, although you might get a long video that's, let's say, an hour long, he does tend to stay on topic for quite a long time. So let's say you've got an hour-long video. I've noticed that he might be tackling, 5 or 6 subjects or topics in that hour. He'll give quite a lot of time to that. So, and also with the fireside chats, I suppose they could be broken down quite easily into topics. It's all a lot of time, obviously, but I suppose that would be, rather than a real cauldron of short little snippets in Tom's videos, there do seem to be some quite long segments that you could get into and pick from the, longer videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's one thing we would need then, is to have kind of a team of people who would want to go through these videos and be able to market. So, from 30 minutes to 42 minutes, he answers this question on relationships, and then for us to categorize that, and then to even like snip the video and make that its own independent topic segment and put that on his YouTube channel and create a playlist for all the videos relevant to relationships. And then we can use that later on to then put that content on the app, or to use that content, extract that material to then develop courses. I think this could be a good first step, is putting together a team of people who want to go through the videos, take the time to go through and find those specific topic segments.
Yeah. I think, Vanessa, one thing we got to think about that may be difficult is in order to break the videos up, it takes a little bit of technical knowledge, on software, how to do it. And so I think we have the resources here with everyone to, start viewing all the videos and categorizing it. I think a equally as large of an effort will be to then go through the videos if we wanted to and break them up, using certain software packages to do that.
So I was just going to quickly chime in on that idea with video editing. Once the groundwork has been done in terms of time stamping and at what point in the video the new question starts or whatever, it would certainly take some time. I'm not saying it would be totally easy, but it'd be a lot easier than having an editor need to go through and sort of watch and figure out where all that stuff happens. But if you were able to say, look, we need from video 1 this time to this time brought out and mixed in with this video over here and brought out, I have a little bit of experience with it, but not a lot. But somebody who was skilled in that front could actually probably whip through that fairly quickly and put a video together. But again, the bulk of the work, as we're talking about right now, would be parsing all that information into a way that is manageable and searchable and all this other stuff.
I've done video editing in the past, so it's simple video editing, that is. But I think in terms of getting the time marks and all that, it's probably best if whoever's doing is, anyone can do this, is as they watch the video, they just indicate the time and the specific topic, and then give that to a person who knows how to do the editing. And they can cut it in and cut it out. That way we can involve more people and get it done quicker.
So my question is, with the number of people that are going to be working on the project, we need to have some sort of a common platform where we're saving the Excel spreadsheet, where you're not going to be writing. I know this is something that we came up against with the Monroe Institute Leadership Council. Someone would be into Dropbox editing the document, and then someone else would open the document at the same time, and then there would be conflicted copies all over the place. So I don't know that's not my expertise, but I've experienced the issue with it. So that would be something that we need to kind of decide is what program we're going to use to keep all the data that everybody's working on together, and how everybody has access to that.
Maybe it's better to assign to someone some specific number of videos to work on, so that there's no mixing up, and then it will be easier. I mean, both for the results and for not confusing with each other. Everybody has to have some list of few videos which he's working on.
Yeah.
Google Sheets does allow you to have concurrent users editing the file and not interfere with other people. So I could be editing one part of the file, another person could be editing another part of the file, and there's no confusion between the users.
That's Google Docs, Daniel?
Google Sheets.
Google Sheets, yeah.
And Google Docs. Any Google documents will allow concurrent users to do editing without any confusion.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah.
And are the originals going to be saved somewhere? Because if we're starting to pull these things off of YouTube, then we don't want to lose stuff either. So how does that work?
Well, we all have our own Excel spreadsheet, and then send it to one person who's in charge and can import it into one kind of master spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So we all keep the information that we've collected, and then send it to one person who's in charge of the master one. That makes sense.
Yeah. And conversely, I was just going to say, conversely, if there was somebody who was sort of assigning people to a video, that would be helpful too, I would imagine. And that way we
Yeah.
won't have any overlap of anything. And we can
Yeah.
also make sure that all the videos are being covered.
Yes, yes, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really great idea. So is anybody, like I said, there's about 50 emails too, so don't worry if nobody here volunteers, but is anybody on this call wanting to go through the videos and do that and find topic segments and identify? Yeah?
I'll do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll do it as well.
Yeah, and I
I'm
will.
happy.
Me too.
I
That's what
can't
I'm
see you
interested in.
now.
That's
Okay,
an
Chris?
idea. Maybe at the end of this, you can send an email with a spreadsheet who wants to do what, so people can just write their names. So some people will do that. Would be easier, I know, than asking now. Just
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay, that's a good idea. So I'll send a spreadsheet with specific
tasks.
Yeah, and then you guys can go ahead and put your names in there, and then we'll start forming little subgroups and have separate meetings as well.
But
Cool.
anybody can watch the videos and see the topics, I mean, what is talked about there. So because the videos are so many, everybody has to have some portion of them to take and to watch. Because 500 videos, it's not small stuff. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Does a master list of the videos exist? Is there a master list of all of the videos somewhere?
I don't think so. I think you just have to go through all the videos and create one. I mean, I'll double check with Tom, but I'm pretty sure we don't have that.
Because there's a ton of information on the MBT forum as well that can be integrated so that people that are readers, you could put the video with a little bit of a wordage that's available too. I don't know.
I'm wondering, Vanessa, if there's it may be that when you upload things into YouTube, it has to be on a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it may be that if the question to Tom would be, is all his videos located in one spot, or are they just located in the cloud on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, he does. He has them all. He's got hard drives of all of the different videos, all the material. All the
Okay, that's probably our best bet in operating off of that. And then what we can do is we can probably get those. It would probably be big, but we could possibly use Google Docs, and possibly get all the videos, into that platform where anyone can go in there, and then we can operate off of that. But if we're operating off of YouTube, I think that's going to be too cumbersome.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't see.
We can create add the hyperlink from the YouTube videos onto the Google Docs, and then use that to reference the title, and then add the keywords, and then whatever else you want, and then use that as a big database to do whatever it wants.
Yeah, because Tom just has them like collecting dust, like sitting in hard drives, like all these files, but he doesn't have any of that organized. I don't know how we would. He'd have to send the hard. We'd have to get it physically from him, and then somebody would upload it.
Yeah. So then we do want to operate off of YouTube, which is fine. The trick there is just going to be, does each one of his videos have a specific name? I'm sure it does, or it has a date on it, which we can sort by. But
yeah, and then to use the hyperlink.
Hyperlink, yeah.
Okay, cool. So
there's a lot of video that's posted by third parties, like people that have interviewed Tom and stuff like that as well. That I don't know if he has copies of that, but there's a lot of answers on those types of videos as well. But we kind of got to bite one piece at a time. So I'm not the one to ask where do you begin with a project this big, but maybe someone who has the expertise of being able to pull an overview and say, okay, this is where we have to start, and then we can have assigning work or something like that. Because as volunteers, I mean, we all have, and we need to have, once the volunteer is assigned something, then you have to have some sort of a deadline in place that says, okay, well, we need it by such and such a date, so that it doesn't last forever either.
Yeah, for sure. We have to have timelines on it. But I mean, just by the sounds of it, even just on this call alone, we have 5 or 6 people who want to go through that material. So it sounds like we could tackle this task within a matter of at least a couple months. I'm thinking, because we really need to do this before we can move on to the second point. So the next thing we want to do is develop courses and an animated series of videos. So yeah, I mean, somebody, I think it was Paul. Paul, you mentioned that you're good with animation.
Yeah, I've done some animation, and I have a background in multimedia installations that I've done for about 8 years. So yeah, I can. And if you look at my website, they're mostly like drawn animations, but I'm also good with like vector graphics and yeah, I can see how there could be kind of infographics about the experiments and about some of the technical stuff that can be explained a lot easier with animated visuals. Because when you look at also, if I look at new experiments, it takes a bit of time to understand what's going on there.
Yeah.
And even just a simple double slit experiment, if it's a couple of things are moving, people will understand it much quicker, and it will be more fun for people to look at too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I never understood the double slit until I watched that Dr. Quantum animated.
Oh,
yeah. From What the Bleep Do We Know, right? So is it that type of animation, or is it different than that? Is it? I guess
Well,
like,
it could be anything. We have to kind of decide on that, because we want to, yes, there has to be like a big group of people that are not normally wouldn't be so interested in this. We have to excite those people to look at it and get excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what we have to look at.
Okay. Okay. And in order to start making animated videos, what do you need? Like obviously scripts, right? And
Yeah, scripts. We need maybe a little storyboard. Can be quite simple. So, and that's basically it. From there, we can probably will need a voiceover of something.
we have one on the call.
Yes.
Really? Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it. Then we can get started with that.
Nice. Okay. So I'm going to make that another, I guess, task or team is making the animated videos. That's something I'm really interested in. And I've attempted to do a couple on my own through like doodle things, but they're pretty cheesy. So yeah. Okay. So then, what's that?
All right.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like the animated videos, we can incorporate those into courses, right? So the courses that we make around different MBT concepts, like say a concept could be, how does intent modify future probability, right? And this could be a course. And then we could create the animated videos to show how that actually happens, to make it easy to understand. And then with that course, we can include some practical exercises. Okay, so for this week, practice modifying your future probability with your intent, right? And we can have things like, so this week, try manifesting, I don't know, like a new interaction with somebody, or whatever it might be. And then if we're doing it where it's a group that's going through the course, and they can meet at the end of the week and they can share the results and discuss with each other, and just make it really interactive and fun. So I'm excited for the whole course.
Can we make a list of all the courses that we want to do and then start prioritizing?
Oh, that's good, Daniel. Yeah. A list of all the courses that we want. Yeah. List of courses.
So I guess from that list we can make like also a list with little scripts, and then we could like try and visualize parts of that and start animating them from there on. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Okay, good.
The other thing too, just to throw it from a production standpoint on the animated videos, like, yeah, I'm a voiceover actor and everything, but I mean, nobody wants to listen to me, truthfully. They want to listen to Tom, and he's recorded all this stuff anyway. So, I mean, it might make more sense just to like, once we have a searchable database of all of his answers to these things, to use his actual audio recordings to complement it. Now, the trick there obviously is there's going to be some technical differences in terms of how the recordings happen and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know what Tom's schedule is like, but maybe he wants to be the guy doing
No,
the audio on it instead.
He doesn't want to be the guy.
Doesn't want to have anything to do with it. All right, fine.
I mean, yeah, he wants us to take on responsibilities. For sure, he's already swamped. But I mean, Chris, my opinion is I'd rather hear your voice and your animation than Tom's, because yeah, he can be very dry and monotone, and we want it to be exciting and entertaining.
But there's something so nice, all of us have to admit, about like Tom's like tone as he's talking about everything. It's so like soothing, and it's just brings such peace.
Absolutely. I use it like a sleeping pill sometimes.
Yes, I do too. It's amazing. I go to sleep, I just let it permeate my mind as I'm drifting off. It's wonderful.
Yeah. It's a charming voice, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So then the next thing is to, I mean, eventually we'd like to produce an interesting, entertaining, informative MBT consciousness and science documentary. So just planting the seed for that to see, you know, if anybody knows anyone who's into creating films and documentaries and producing. We do have.
I might know someone who does that kind of stuff.
One of the gentlemen that was at the Lumley MBT Immersive is big into that, so he might be a good person to contact.
What's his name?
I'd have to look up the on my phone. I don't have it handy, but I'll send it to you, Vanessa.
Awesome, Beth. Thank you. Yeah, you may have emailed me because I had a few people from Lumley contact me, so I was just seeing if it was him. But okay, cool. So then the translation, there's lots of people who are available to translate, and that's going to be the second step. I know that Keith is already taking people who want to translate the material that they have right now. So if you're really eager to start translating, then you can contact Keith at mbtevents.com. Otherwise, we're gonna translate things after we organize them. First thing we need to do is organize them.
Absolutely.
I was thinking there was at least 2 or 3 videos that are very thorough from the beginning to the end, that maybe it's good to translate them. So it's kind of like there's 2 interviews that he did explaining everything from the beginning to the end, which is good to translate them as the beginning, isn't it? Something just to get out there before. Because I don't think there's a need to translate everything, all his videos. It's kind of like focus on the
correct.
The one that tells everything in 1 or 2 videos, kind of.
Yeah, now that you say that, and it might be actually easier if you're going through the videos to do the topic segments, it might be easier to translate at the same time that you're time stamping it. So yeah, you could do that simultaneously, so it's not one or the other, it's together. Yeah. Okay. And then the last thing is to develop a social space. So something similar to kind of like a Facebook, but for the MBT community. That takes a lot of software development and engineer and tech I don't know if anybody on this call does, how we'd get started with that.
Welcome to use platforms that already exist, like Facebook, for example. Just create a group on Facebook, a closed group.
You mean,
the problem with putting things on Facebook is that you don't really own that material. They could take all that off of Facebook and then you've lost it. So I think it's best if you put it on your own website or some other.
Yeah.
I think it'd be on your own website, so that way you have total control of the content.
It's separate. Yeah.
Good idea. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think you have to develop the software, Vanessa, but I think there are some already platforms out there, so you can set up your own server or servers and use some of the softwares that are already available out there. Yeah, but I don't think there's the need to like programming or developing. I could look into it and see what options are out there available.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Because when we were exploring this, we were thinking of something where you had even like an app where everybody in the MBT community had the same app. And then you could see, you know, what followers or what fans are in the city. Say you go visit Seattle, and you'd have a database, a list of everybody in Seattle, and you could just like post on your wall or whatever it is, like, hey, you know, I'm here in Seattle for the weekend. Is anybody going to be around, kind of thing, and then you can connect with people, with other MBTers in that city, or even in your hometown.
Vanessa, there's an open source platform called Omeka. And you can use that to display a list of all the videos and any content you want in a sort of almost like a library type of form. Well, I use it for the Ukrainian group for their archives, and so it might be something for you to take a look at and see if it might be worthwhile.
Omeka?
OMEKA.org.
Okay, I'll check that out. Omeka. And that's a database to store large files, and
I don't know if they'll store large files, but it will hyperlink to a place where you can play the videos or what have you, or you can have it linked to, say, YouTube, or to another storage location where you can play the videos.
okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll check that out. All right, well, the next steps that we need to take moving forward is to organize teams of people who want to work together on specific projects and initiatives. The first one being taking all the material and time stamping and putting that all in an Excel spreadsheet to include which specific video, the hyperlink to that video, and then the specific times and related topics. So it looks like we'll have quite a few volunteers for that, and then we need somebody to kind of oversee that group to make sure that that's moving smoothly. So yeah, like I said, I'll send out an email, and then if anybody wants to volunteer to kind of be the leader for that, that would be great.
I just want to chime in. I think that leader should also, or there should be a discussion about like what information do we need to parse. Like, I'm happy to be a grunt on that one and just like watch videos and fill in the data, but yeah, who's telling me what specifically? Because somebody had mentioned before the idea of just keeping sort of the information we need to get from those videos uniform across all the people watching, and so that we're not just having excess information and stuff like that come in. So yeah, we need to know what we need and how we're entering that data, and somebody needs to be in charge. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to be clearly defined, I guess.
I think what you're saying is someone needs to take the lead on developing the database and how it's supposed to be structured. Because if you know about databases and stuff like that, it's how you structure the database, and once you have which columns you need and what information goes into the database, then it's much easier to put it in. So whoever is good with that would not be me, but somebody who's good with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Toby, was it you that said you got experience with databases?
As much as anybody else.
Oh, okay. Or was it Mark? Somebody said that they have experience building databases.
So in my capacity as a general manager, I have a lot of people I work with that do a lot of these kinds of things. And I've kind of been just listening and thinking that perhaps we should think a little bit about these next steps and have a follow-up to this conversation to where we could get some more specificity around these activities, and then prioritize the activities, and then to begin to develop a plan on how to approach the activities. I personally would like to have the opportunity to talk to some of my colleagues about the ideas such as how would we sort these YouTube videos that way? Because I think I got people that I work with that have done those kind of things. And rather than trying to figure it out myself, I wouldn't get that, but I would like to just kind of have that opportunity. That's just my thoughts on how we might want to proceed. I think we've had a pretty good general conversation about some things, and as you've outlined, maybe we could begin to kind of prioritize that. And what tools would we use? Excel spreadsheet as the database? that's a pretty general database, and there might be another database that would give us a little bit more opportunity to use. An application that I'm just going to become familiar with called My Strength is a proprietary application, but I think it would maybe have some broad opportunity for use. In that last conversation we were having about, well, how would we have how would we develop a social space media? Because I think there are some of those things that are out there right now. This one that I'm referring to, My Strength, is something that is designed for behavioralists to work together and with, I don't want to call them patients or clients, but, and it has a lot of opportunity for editing, but it's existing. And I think one thing we want to try and do is find out what's out there that exists that would allow us to do these tasks in the most efficient manner. So just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Thank you. And I agree that there needs to be more. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think if we wanted to get going though, we can start on Excel, because with Excel you can import that into like most databases. So if we wanted to get up and running and we use Excel, and then we can look to the future, we can look to gather that information from Excel and import it into a database. My experience is that as long as you've got it on Excel, then you can import it into almost anything.
Yeah, that's right. Once in Excel, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
So it's a good starting point always.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a very sophisticated database, really. In terms of structure and kind of information, I think it's going to be a very simple database. It might be probably 2,000 or 3,000 records or something like that. But in terms of the information like date, hyperlink, the name of the video, probably the timestamps, the keywords, the priority of the keywords, and those, it's really a very simple database. Yeah.
I think one of the things, guys, with Excel is it has the capability of programming in drop-down menus. So you have consistency across all entries. So for instance, if we have, we're talking about our keywords, if we only want to have 50 keywords that we all agree on, those 50 keywords can be put into exactly spelled the same, with the same punctuation and everything, put in there. And so you pick that off of a drop down, you press a button, it drops it down. You say, okay, this one's going to be relationship. This is going to be, love or whatever it is. And then we have consistency across the Excel database. If we don't have that, what happens is we're creating a little bit of a challenge in providing that consistency later, because someone's got to go through and say, well, wait a second, they spelled relationships with an S and not relationship. You see what I mean? So, but anyways, just a thought on that. Yeah, Excel definitely has the capability of doing drop down. I don't know if Google Sheets has that capability, but I'll look into that. And if we want to use Excel,
I believe it does.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with what Mark was saying, in that we don't want to have to reinvent the wheel, and that if people are already doing this and there's an easier way to do it, then we should do that. So maybe before we just kind of jump into it, we do have another discussion around this, so that we are really doing it the right way when we first start, just to save us time and frustration. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's the right way to go to, Vanessa. Yeah, as Mark was saying, we need to have a little bit more specificity, and in the meantime, we can try to dig a little bit into our contacts and how other people would approach this. Like do a little homework before going into more detail and assigning tasks. I think in general it's a very good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I think preparation at the beginning, a little bit of time invested in preparation at the beginning, I think could kick us off very well. So if we fully understand exactly what we're doing, and as Mark and others have said and alluded to, it's another meeting to discover where we're going with it all. And I suppose the whole thing is going to evolve as we go. So more and more questions are going to come up, and we're going to come up with more and more answers and more and more detail, which we can then expand on and then go to town with, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe one more thing, Vanessa.
Totally agree.
This spreadsheet about who wants to do what. Maybe ask how many hours a week or anyone have. That's, you know, if someone can do only 2 hours a week, someone else can do 10. So it's important to know, isn't it?
Right. That's a really good point, because then the person who's leading this particular group knows which videos to assign, how much time they can dedicate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you need a project manager to keep track of all the project tasks.
Yeah. Definitely do need a project manager.
That's you, Vanessa.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the connector. I connect people. I manage my own life with my kids. So yeah, how many hours per week? Okay, great. And then also keep in mind, like, the more meetings that we have moving forward, we don't all have to be on every single meeting, right? If we have a meeting just for people working on the topic segments, it'll just be those. And then we have a meeting for people who are interested in creating the courses and the animated, then it'll just be that group. So you don't always have to come to every single meeting. Although I will put them out, because in case you are interested, then you can join. So I'm just going to check the time. We're on time. That's good. Yeah, so then it looks like the next step is to schedule another meeting where we can explore these steps that we want to take, specifically being taking the YouTube videos, taking all that content and organizing it. So we can talk to the people in our or in our immediate surroundings, whoever we know, to our connections, and see if anybody has any valuable feedback. I can talk to our MBT group too. I know that they've been looking at this and trying to figure out ways to extract information from YouTube. I don't think they've made any headway, but I'll talk to them and see what they have. And then if everybody can just talk to their resources and people that they know and find more information about this, and we can recalibrate. So
yes, Vanessa, just a quick suggestion, just to start with something, and taking into account that the first part to tackle is the classification and spreading of the videos and all that. Maybe for the next meeting, if we could come with specific, how can I say this in English? The specific parameters that we have to, we want to capture for each video. For example, the hyperlink is obviously one. Maybe the name, as it is right now in YouTube, I don't know. The date, probably. And then obviously we need a column for the different timestamps. But if we could come with ideas for these parameters that we have to capture in the database, that's one thing. And the other thing, maybe if we could come with ideas for the keywords. So how many keywords could be out there, like love, fear, relationships, electron, photon, I don't know, whatever keywords we can come up, and we could try to just narrow down the keywords list, probably.
that's a really good idea. And say we have a working document that we all can contribute to, and then once we meet, we can look at that document and see if we're happy with that and if we can now implement it moving forward.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tom or Pam or Keith or Donna would have a list of that, of keywords.
Yeah, they probably do.
Okay. Yeah. I'll check.
And Vanessa, one other recommendation too is I think it's important for us to all try to think about what platform we think would work best for the eventual user. You know, we've got we can do a website, you know, where they do the search. You can do an iPhone, you do iPads. What is going to be the the application that we're going to use or the venue for it. And the reason why is that'll dictate really what type of database we use and how we're going to program it and everything like that. For instance, on a gut instinct right now, I would think if we were to get something on a phone platform, that would be that would attract more people, and people would use it more than just on the computer platform. Because right now, for instance, Tom's books are available online, and it's searchable. You know what I mean? But I have to admit, I've never used that.
Yeah.
So
eventually,
yeah,
I think eventually too, the point of fact is that there's got to be some way to start monetizing it, because eventually you're going to need staff and you're going to need to pay for things. So yes, there's a lot that Tom's done and given out free, and it's not his point to make money from this. But I also think that there is going to be a place where we have to kind of look at the future where it could be monetized and staff could start being hired to run these things, that volunteers get burned out after a while.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Right.
And if we did have an application like the iPhone, you could charge $1.99 or something, and that could pay for the, a lot of the people doing the programming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, one other thing I've noticed in my industry is that communication is really a key part of any operation, and I'm just thinking straight away with this is I wonder how we would all stay in touch and communicate with each other. And perhaps, is there something to be said for a common, what's the word? Is database the word of email addresses, or I just wonder how we would begin to interact with each other and talk to each other about how the whole process is going, and etc.
Yeah. I was just thinking we would use email. So I will, for this group, create a group email. But if somebody has something else that we can use, then Beth?
I was just going to suggest, I run the virtual local chapter for the Monroe Institute, and we all have a Google Hangout where people that are in New Zealand can type in at 3 a.m. And yes, you have to set your notifications so you're not getting woken up at 3 a.m., but you can scroll back through all the conversation that's taken place, and it's quite user-friendly in that regard. Like, it'll take you to the stuff you've missed, and it saves all of that so you can scroll back over time and look at it. So I don't know if that's something that we might want to consider using, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Does everyone need a Google account?
It helps if you have Gmail.
Okay.
I'm not
But
sure
you
you're
don't.
aware, but Google Hangout is going to go away in 2020. Google is going to kill it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, well, we get it for the next year.
Well, we don't want to start with something that's on the chopping block, so yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, Oliver from Fireside Chat. He said he would create a server space. Don't mind my technical, I don't know what it is, but he's going to create some for us where we can all be connected. So I just need to give him everybody's email address and contact information, and then he'll send you all a personal login ID, and that will give you access to this special space for us to stay connected. Yeah. So.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Unless you already have. Is anybody here already registered with Fireside Chat? Nobody except for Matt.
Yes, me.
Okay, so I'll just send him everybody's info, and we'll all get set up on that. And so most likely the next time we connect in a week or two will be via his platform. It won't be via Zoom. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll send out another doodle poll spanning out over the next 2 weeks, because I noticed that there were a lot of new people that were coming in, but it was already too late for them because I closed the poll. So we can open it up to new people who want to also contribute. Would you guys like that, or do you want to do something where it's more moving forward with what we already have, or to keep expanding with bringing new people in?
My vote is planning is always a good thing. It's better to plan for a little bit longer and then start execution rather than start executing before the plan's fully in place. So that's my vote.
Yeah.
maybe Vanessa, the next one will be more subjects so oriented. So if you can do the next doodle about translating, so any new ones can just join straight to what they want to join in, maybe. So we don't need to start from the beginning all the time.
Right, right. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
And
Gotcha.
also in terms of the stuff going through all the videos, I think before a bunch more people got involved, I think the most important thing first is to sort of clarify exactly, as we've discussed, like what kind of info do we need in that template, what program are we using, all that sort of stuff. Figure that stuff out, maybe, I don't know, whatever, without 30 more people in and sort of covering a lot of the stuff we've covered today already. I think we could probably start looking at what kind of info we need and get specific about that. And then once we know that, then bring a bunch of people in and say, okay, this is what we need everybody to do. You could start watching this fireside chat video and, you know, doling out
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which would be a better use of that many more people coming in at that point and being part of the group than starting from the beginning again.
Right.
I like that. Mark, did you want to add anything to kind of where we're at? I know you've got a lot of, well, you're a project manager, so general manager.
General manager. No, I'm going to meditate on it. No, I think all the things that we've talked about are great. There are, and if we got a list served together with those that are on the existing conversation today, then that email could go back and forth with everybody that's on that. And they're not too many because, you know, one of the things with those is that when someone sends something out and then you get 18, it can be long really quick. Now, the other thing is that for working space, there are things called Dropbox, and I don't know if you've used that, but those are nice to use for technical components of work that you just put it in the box and others can get in it and out of it, and it's easy to kind of work around. We can talk more about that on our next conversation because I can get some detail if others aren't familiar with that.
Yeah.
But then it would be something that maybe you or an organizer would just say, okay, that's what we can use, and it's put together, and it's a data spot, it's space, and everything goes in there, and it's categorized, and someone works on something, it's always updated. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good one too. Yeah.
Dropbox runs out of space really quickly, though, if you're using the free Dropbox, which most people would want to use. So then somebody's got to upgrade it to a paid, and again, then we're running into again.
Right, and I thought about that too. And in my capacity with the organization that I'm with, we have quite a bit of IT capacity, and that's one of the things I'm going to get with the IT guys and say, what about that? Could we create a space that would be dedicated for that purpose? And then we have the proprietary Dropbox available, and I think that, so I'm just going to check some of those things out. So.
Okay, great. Yeah, and Oliver might have something like that on our little that he's giving us. I know he mentioned
you might want to utilize AWS as well, which is Amazon Web Service, where you can have unlimited storage. So the more you want to add, that's all they charge you as you incrementally add space or files, and they'll just charge you for that amount of space that you utilize.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because we will need space once we have these videos coming in. Once we're editing them. I guess it'll be the video editor who will need that space because the person who timestamps it will just send them the hyperlink, and then they're the ones who are going to then have the hard copy of the video. And I think, and yeah, so that's something we're going to need is more server space too, which we'll look into. Was there any final comments or anything that anyone wanted to add before we wrap this up?
Nice start.
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
Say thank you to you, Vanessa.
Yes, thanks, Vanessa, for spearheading this.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Great.
Vanessa.
Like to add, it was really nice virtually meeting all of you. It's amazing that we're talking to people from all around the world right now. It's super cool, and it's really nice just to connect with people who are into Tom's work. There's too few of them in my daily reality.
Likewise. Nice to meet you.
Same here.
Nice to meet you. Thank
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll send out the doodle poll, and we'll connect again soon.
Great.
Thanks so much,
Bye,
Vanessa.
everybody.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Very much.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank
Thank you.
you.